Welcome, everyone. It's Cannabis News. I'm your host, Joe Klare. It's February 6th, 2020. The show, as always, is presented by the Marijuana Times. MarijuanaTimes.org is where you can find us. Click the video tab there to find this show. A lot of great articles and more as well. Social media links, of course, too. MarijuanaTimes.org. Those of you watching the video version of the show notice that there's some new stuff in the background. I'm trying something a little new. A bookcase. This came into... I already had possession of it, but somehow it came to be in this room. So I figured, hey, I will put some stuff on it and we'll give that a shot. I'm still kind of on the fence. As you can see, we have, we have Rasta Banana and Rasta Vader. We have the Cannabis Kitchen Cookbook, which I just happen to have laying around. We have a magazine with a big marijuana leaf on it, a marijuana pillow, some hats. It's, I'll keep tinkering with it and moving stuff around and maybe finding other stuff to put up there. And I mean, it's okay. The only thing I don't like is if I get my face like real close to the microphone right here, like real close to the camera, it makes me, the optical illusion created makes my head look as big as a bookcase. And that's not really the aesthetic that I'm looking for when it comes to the show. But it's better. If I'm back here, it's better. My head looks almost normal in relation to the size of the bookcase. In any event, it's something I can, change stuff around, and we'll see. You may tune in tomorrow's show and it may be gone. I don't know. You never know. You have to live in constant fear. The next time you see the show, the bookcase will have disappeared. Today, talking about a new study on dabbing, also Joe Biden, because really I'm forced to talk about Joe Biden every now and then, and Boston's first recreational marijuana shop getting approved. All of that coming up. But first, of course, Cannabis News is brought to you by Nature-Cide. Nature-Cide.com and their organic, all-natural pesticides. Grow safe and poison-free with Nature-Cide. Don't use harmful chemicals or banned pesticides in the state that you are growing in. Instead, use Nature-Cide for many reasons, including, and maybe most important of all, their awesome sponsorship of Cannabis News. Thank you, Nature-Cide, for your continued awesomeness. I forgot that there's a little, it's like, I'm talking about the bookcase again. I'm distracted back to the bookcase because I can see it there. The monitor. Anyway, there's like it's like a dragon on a castle, and it's supposed to be candles. And so I figured, hey, I mean, it's not marijuana related, so I'll stick that there. I could put bongs and stuff back there, but I don't know. Doesn't everybody do that? I don't know. Maybe nobody does that. Maybe I'd be the first. I really haven't researched the issue that much. This first story by yours truly at MarijuanaTimes.org. A new study claims dabbing is a gateway to more dabbing. It's a new study published in the JAMA Network Open. Followed the cannabis use patterns of about 2,700 high school students. They checked them, in the beginning, then after 6 months, then after a year. So researchers from the University of Southern California, and they broke down their findings into different consumption categories like flower, blunts, vapes, edibles, and dabs. Basically what they found is those who started earlier with concentrates and wax and dabs and shatter and, etc., tended to gravitate more and use that more as they got older. Obviously, as I point out in the article, there was tolerance issues when it comes to that kind of stuff. You're not going to start, high and then go low later, but more so than anything, if a lot of people who use dabs are looking for the specific effects that come from THC, obviously because concentrates are high in THC, and if there's more THC, that's going to mean a higher quality product to those people because that's what they're looking for is the effects of THC. And no matter what commodity or product you're talking about, if people like the product, they're going to continue with it for the most part. Whether it's brands or restaurants or retailers or whatever, bowling alleys, it doesn't matter. If someone likes a product or a place or whatnot, they're going to continue to gravitate back toward that area. So it's not really surprising at all. But, I guess all research is worthwhile, I guess. I'm sure that's a famous quote. All research is worthwhile. I know I didn't just make that up. But maybe I did. Again, I don't know. I didn't research that either. I didn't know I was going to say something so profound on the show. Or I would have looked into it. I guess some interns on it, if we had some. Anyway. So there you go. Again, I mean, I guess they get grant money and they study and they do stuff. I mean, is it important? I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. It's not as important as maybe other research could be done on marijuana, but it's their thing. Good for them. They're researchers. And they get to choose what they research. I don't, for obvious reasons. I I don't have much invested in the decision. I don't face the consequences of the decision. That's their thing. We're moving on. Politico.com is next with Joe Biden. Joe Biden kind of, sort of, almost endorses legalizing marijuana. Apparently, somebody from MPP asked him about legalizing marijuana. He was on the campaign trail in New Hampshire. Don Murphy, the Marijuana Policy Project, he approached Biden at a campaign event and asked about the candidate's hawkish cannabis policy. In the recording, Biden restated his cannabis plan, which would decriminalize cannabis, expunge some records, make medical marijuana legal, and create opportunities for more research. Now he says that he doesn't really think it's a gateway drug. He kind of flip-flop on that a couple months ago. And again, I'm forced to talk about Biden because he's a front runner for the Democratic nomination, and the president has so much power over what could happen with federal marijuana law reform that press people have to follow around doddering old men to ask them what they think about marijuana. And Joe Biden in particular, who authored legislation that put a lot of marijuana consumers and users and growers and harder drug users and growers in jail for obscene amounts of time when these people weren't even infringing on the rights of anyone else. But now he's, he's battling with Bernie Sanders and other people in for the Democratic nomination. All these other candidates are like, hey, we're on board, legalize marijuana. Bernie Sanders is talking about legalizing nationwide on the first day, which is impossible, but he's all in when it comes to that, as are most Democratic candidates. And Joe Biden, he's got a bit of a disadvantage when it comes to that area with his background with criminal justice and the like. So he's got to kind of move to the legalizing marijuana area without seeming like he's just doing it because he's running for president, which he obviously is. Otherwise, he wouldn't care. Joe Biden he doesn't care about marijuana users or whatever. He cares about votes, and he knows that marijuana legalization, especially in the Democratic Party, is huge. Huge. How are you going to win the nomination for the Democratic Party for president in 2020 if you're against marijuana legalization? It can't happen. So, hence the evolution of Joe Biden on marijuana. Last story from NBCBoston.com. Boston's first recreational marijuana shop is approved. Boston's first shop in Massachusetts' first minority-owned marijuana business was approved Thursday, more than a year after the first shops opened elsewhere in the state. Just a little behind. The state's Cannabis Control Commission on Thursday voted to give final license approval to Pure Oasis, a pot shop proposed by two local black entrepreneurs. The approval comes more than 3 years after voters approved the nation's first marijuana law aimed at encouraging black, Latinos, and other people harmed by the war on drugs to participate in the new industry. Commission Chairman Steve Hoffman called the vote an important milestone and wished the company luck. Kobe Evans, a co-owner of Pure Oasis, said the shop hopes to open its doors in about a month in the city's diverse Dorchester neighborhood. It's been a long, challenging journey, but it's all been worth it, he said after the vote. We're excited to be where we are right now. We'd also like to see more opportunities for people like us, so that it's not such a challenging road for people that come after us. Black and Latino groups have voiced their frustration for months. The slow pace of approvals for minority-owned businesses, both in Massachusetts and nationwide. Massachusetts has granted some form of approval to about 280 marijuana companies to date, but only about 10 of those have gone to companies like Pure Oasis that are certified under the state's equity programs for minority and disadvantaged marijuana businesses. Nearly 75% of those who applied or approved to work in Massachusetts' legal marijuana industry are white. Black and Latino people make up less than 12% of the marijuana workforce. I don't know how that coincides with the minority population of Massachusetts. I imagine it's slightly higher than 12%. But again, I could be wrong. I know I've said that a lot this episode. I don't know. All these things have just come up, and I didn't have a chance to do any in-depth research, so I have no idea. I have no idea what percentage the minority population is of Massachusetts. Anyway, so that's what's going on in Massachusetts. The slow rollout continues there, as it does elsewhere around the country. There's just I don't want to say it's frustrating. I think frustrating may be too strong of a word. It's whatever is a little less than frustrating. Aggravating? Maybe is that more than frustrating? I think it is. Anyway, the slow, incremental pace, the spotty pace of the way things are being done in the United States, especially when it comes to legalization, it just means that there's battles everywhere. Constant, continuous, multiple battles all across the country, whether it's, going after votes or trying to get petition signatures or opening up businesses that are, for adult use or medical marijuana. It's a constant battle, but I guess, gives me something to talk about. So there's a silver lining. It's a silver lining of 8 decades of marijuana prohibition. You get to hear me talk 5 days a week right here on Cannabis News. Find us at marijuanatimes.org. Search the Marijuana Times on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. We're closing in on 3,000 subscribers there. We're also on Apple Podcasts if you just want the audio. You don't want to see me or my cool bookcase or any of that. That's fine, man. I'm not going to judge you for that. But if you're not listening and watching at all, then I most certainly judge you for your poor taste and poor decisions in life. Thanks to Nature-Cide, nature-cide.com. And their organic, all-natural pesticides. Thanks to all of you for watching and listening today. Of course, spreading the news about cannabis, spreading the truth about cannabis with this show, liking, sharing, commenting, all that stuff. Please continue to do so. And we'll see you next time right here on Cannabis News.